for 99% of the population.
Yeah, agreed. Now, something that will most likely have a direct impact on Google is AI generated content, specifically ChatGPT as a tool. Now, how is this likely to disrupt? Let's start with jobs in SEO.
Well, I guess it's the $1 million question. I mean, if I had to guess, I always think that technology usually, like if you order jobs by value, from most valuable to less valuable, usually technology cuts always by the bottom, no? Like the things that are more repetitive, operational, low value, they usually die with technology over time. And this is not something new by AI, but by many things, no? Like automation and so on. So I think AI is just a continuation of that. The thing is that it has a much better wow effect. And I mean, I'm really impressed, by OpenAI's ChatGPT-3. So, for example, if I was either a copywriter focused on SEO text or a company that sells SEO text for a footer, I could be a bit worried personally because that doesn't seem to have a very kind of long-term outcome, in my opinion. I mean, it will be still, a thing, but I don't think, first, I don't think it brings much value today. And secondly, I don't think it will be a thing in the long run. So that is definitely a disruption I could anticipate. And I mean, I think it's already there in a way. As an SEO, and I mean, as a worker, let's say, where I think you can bring the most value is by doing what machines can't do and probably will not be able to do in the short term. The issue that we have is the gap between these two is narrowing much more quickly than you kind of guess, no? Because maybe, I don't know, you could automate, let's say, a program to check a database and see if there is an error in the data, for example, or something. So that's something that, okay, you kind of do and it brings value and it's automation. But now, like, you could have an analyst almost replaced by doing some SQL queries. If you provide like the right prompts and inputs to ChatGPT-3, like you could do analysis work that you would need a kind of a person to do. I don't think that's the case, like realistically, like you would still rely on humans, but the point being that the gaps are closing much quicker than we anticipated. So I think the best way you can do, the best thing you can do as a worker in general is moving up in the value chain and moving closer to critical thinking and strategy topics rather than operational and execution of topics. Because let's say that I don't think AI can do an SEO strategy for a company to attack, I don't know, X and Y vertical in this creative way or something. But yes, I mean, if you do footer SEO text, like you're in a bad place, it's probably likely that you will get, if not replaced, you will not be in a very good position. So I think when I think of work, it's like the same with programming, like if you look at ChatGPT-3, like you can go there, or GitHub Copilot, you can go there and ask for, how to make a HTTP request to this API and whatever. Like these things, they are done very well by the tool. So if your job was doing this, then maybe you should be worried. But if your job was to design a complex backend system to store, I don't know, data and expose it and something, then you're in a good place. I don't think ChatGPT-3 can do this, at least for now. So yeah, just try to, move up in the value chain by bringing more strategic value, critical thinking, and all of this. I think, at least for now, irreplaceable things, because ChatGPT-3 at the end is a bit of a pattern generation tool that learns from everyone, which means it's borderline kind of, let's say, average in everything it does. It's like not super good at anything, but it can do everything mediocrely or something.
It's one of the biggest changes I think it's creating in the world of search is changing the way people think about search, just general users of search, and the way they what they expect from search. I saw one of your posts on LinkedIn showing how it could look on the right hand side. So like real time information being filled in with based on the question that one puts in. So I think users will almost expect to see real time information, right? But that real time information will be based on what they put in, the inputs, so the prompt. And this, of course, will impact keywords, which is where, what we play around with. So how do you see all of this impacting the way people search and what they expect from search?
It's very tricky. I was reading a thread from a guy that works at Google. I think he's the creator of Keras, which is the kind of an API interface to TensorFlow or something like this. I'm not very familiar with the machine learning types of tools, but he mentioned something like, AGI, artificial general intelligence, was always the end game to search. The question is if we're close to that or not. In his opinion, we're not close to that. I don't think we're close to that either, because to have a AGI, like, it's not just about what we have now, but like feeding that with real-time information and like things that go beyond what we have at this moment. But if we think about it, like the end game to search is something that replaces search, does exactly fulfill the same functions or even more, better, and in a faster way and in a more personalized way. And I think if we think about this, then, I mean, it's not that Google is going to disappear in the next 5 years. That would be really stupid to think about. But like, if you had a perfect artificial intelligence that could give you any information, any recommendation, any whatever you need, like, you would probably use Google. If not at all, at least way less. So I think definitely there is a point in which, the search for information could be done in different ways, and this kind of assistant topic, which has been tried in different ways by Google or, I don't know, Alexa, but really erratically, like it didn't make a difference, then it's more like a toy than anything else. Then now we have a new trend that clearly will be differently. If we bring a business concept of game theory, you don't, like, for example, when Uber and Lyft got into the market, it was not, I mean, of course they compete with each other, but each of them makes some marketing effort or some effort that makes the general market bigger. So it's not a zero-sum game. It's a positive-sum game. So I think, like, it's not that ChatGPT will take away Google's market share and will bring Google to zero, at least for now. Maybe it will take a small portion or a portion of Google's traffic, but it will create new use cases of things that you would never use Google for. In my opinion, like, for example, coding, like in the past, you could kind of Google some kind of problems you had with code and go to Stack Overflow and read some stuff. But now you can go to the tool, paste your code and tell me what's wrong. Yeah. So like, that's a new use case that you didn't have before. So I wouldn't consider that, ChatGPT will end Google, at least not for now, because realistically, the things that Google does and ChatGPT does too is information. And I think it has been proven that ChatGPT is quite bad at certain types of information. It's not really reliable. Like, I've tried quite a lot and it's really like miles away from being reliable to do certain things. But yeah, I mean, we will continue to see AI in search, and probably the thing that is missing at this stage is what is the UX or the UI for artificial intelligence. There is a few search engines that try to work with this. I think there is one called Perplexity. There is another one called Niva. There is a few ones, and each of them interprets the world of search in a new way that is very different from today. Some basically they do the search results, and then you click a button and they summarize the 5 top results, and you get a summary of 5 different pages, and it gives you the main hints that you might be interested in. Other focus, more like on just like more the AI type of thing, but providing links to the sources. Others try to make it more like real-time oriented by feeding it with the latest data. I think the UX is still being figured out. I would expect that in the next 2 to 5 years we will see a lot of activity until a clear winner comes. For now it looks like it's ChatGPT-3. I have to say I'm using it quite a lot, and I think that conversational UI is quite interesting and fulfills a huge variety of tasks, but there is also many that doesn't fulfill for now, so I wouldn't be too worried yet. But clearly, like if these things evolve substantially, as SEOs we'll need to adapt, and who knows, maybe we'll be a bit less relevant in some capacity. But being realistic, that has been happening for a while, no? Because paid search takes over more traffic every year. There is more searches without clicks. So I think it's not super new, but it could accelerate the change, I suppose.